Hey, welcome back to Sword Keepers. My name is Katie Johnson, and Amanda Quiring, who normally does the Sword Keepers videos, has since then moved away from Vernon. So you will be seeing my face around church more than you will be seeing hers, and so I'm going to teach you this next passage, which comes from Matthew chapter 5, verses 1 through 16. So just a bit of background and context for this passage. It is most often referred to as the Beatitudes, and we'll get into what that means in the next video. But it's taken from the Sermon on the Mount, which is Jesus's first public sermon, so pretty exciting. And there are a bunch of sermons actually coming from our church a couple of years ago on this very passage. So if you're interested in taking a look at that, just look under sermons on the church, the church's website. So we start out with our hands together and say the reference, which is Matthew chapter 5, verses 1 through 16. So at this point in Jesus's public ministry, he had accumulated many people who loved to follow him around. They were very interested to see what miracles he might be performing next, as well as what he had to say. So in this passage, it actually says he goes up onto a mountain, and he is going to be the one to sit down. Now, keeping in mind, back in those days, in the Bible days, it was perfectly normal for the teacher to take a seat before they started speaking or preaching or talking, and then for the audience or the learners to be the ones remaining standing. So if it sounds backwards to you, just keep that in mind. Okay, Matthew 5, verses 1 through 16. Seeing the crowds, he went up on the mountain, and when he sat down, his disciples came to him, and he opened his mouth and taught them, saying. So that's all we're going to learn for the first video, but I'm going to go through it a couple more times for you, and then feel free to repeat it and just work on it as much as you need to before progressing to the next video. Matthew 5, verses 1 through 16. Seeing the crowds, he went up on the mountain, and when he sat down, his disciples came to him, and he opened his mouth and taught them, saying. One more time, Matthew 5, verses 1 through 16. Seeing the crowds, he went up on the mountain, and when he sat down, his disciples came to him, and he opened his mouth and taught them, saying. Good job.